Today, I'll be talking about the rapper the entire world was waiting to be released from prison, a man who had the whole world behind him. Today, I'll be talking about Bobby Shmurda. Bobby Shmurda, if you don't know, is a 30-year-old rapper from Brooklyn, and is most known by his song Hot Fella, you could say. This song was released back in 2014, which was a meme multiple times, and just overall pretty popular everywhere. Later in the same year of his rise, he was arrested and charged along with others in his group called GS9, which was a Crip group, on charges of conspiracy to murder, weapons possession, reckless endangerment, and other gang-related activities. He was being investigated long before his rise to fame, as he was seen as a big person in the involvement of a lot of criminal activity. In 2016, he pleaded guilty to one count of third-degree conspiracy and one count of weapons possession and was sentenced to 7 years in prison, which was reduced to 5 years after receiving credit for the 2 years he was already serving awaiting trial. But he had the possibility of facing 25 years previously, so only having to face 7 isn't that bad. During his time inside of Rikers Island, he got into a fight or two, mainly due to gang stuff like Crips vs. Bloods, and allegedly brought in some knives from his girlfriend. But he ended up being found not guilty of the knives thing, and I guess there wasn't really anything to add on from the, gang fights. But after the events at Rikers Island, he was moved to protective custody in a upstate New York correctional facility, then was released later in 2021. While he was serving time, the conversation phrase, "Free Bobby Shmurda," came up, and when it got closer to him being released, it rose even more. People were really excited to see him come back to the rap game and see what he would do next. But after being released from prison in 2021, the people's expectations were completely destroyed. Bobby Shmurda was released on February 23rd, 2021. Everyone was celebrating and meeting with Bobby Shmurda. Fans were celebrating. The entire rap community was celebrating. A lot of people and fans thought within the next day or two, he would follow the trend that others like T Grizzly and NLA Choppa would set by making a song called First Day Out, where they make a song and they rap and everything about their first day out. But this wasn't the case at all, as after he was released, he would rarely post on his Instagram and wouldn't release any music till 7 months later with a freestyle called, quote, "No Time for Sleep" freestyle. This song, in my opinion, was disappointing. It doesn't sound good. It wasn't mixed well. The lyrics are mid and hard to understand at times, which all of this is a repeated pattern in his music post-release. To make the people wait 7 months, then drop a not great song was disappointing to say the least, and did not help with his popularity at all. And I think, actually, it did the reverse. Although taking time to see your loved ones and explore makes sense, the smartest thing to do marketing-wise would be to release a First Day Out song or music video, or just a song in general very soon after your release. Oddly enough, his friend who went to jail and doesn't seem to be as known, named Rowdy Rebel, actually had more of a successful return to music with multiple features on decent-sized songs where he performed very well on them as well. He was released 2 months prior on December 15th, 2020, and got to work very quickly making his own song and releasing it on February 12th, 2021, but was also even featured in another song by Funk Flex in January 22nd, 2021. And he would continue to be featured on multiple songs consistently throughout 2021 and remain active in a lot of more projects on his own in 2022 and onward. The only real success Bobby Shmurda has had since his prison release in the music category was in his No Time for Sleep freestyle, which is obvious that would succeed anyway, as that is his first song after being released. But he also had another song featuring Quavo and Rowdy Rebel that did well called Shmoney. Everyone else's performances on this song other than his own were good. But overall, if you were just a spectator and didn't look into the behind the scenes or any interviews as to why Bobby Shmurda was not releasing music, then it doesn't make sense. A rapper who was loved and looked highly upon, and everyone was waiting for him to release some music, and he could have had collaborations with anyone, decided that he didn't want to release music? Well, why? Well, apparently, after years of conflict with his record label that he was under called Epic Records, he was finally released in 2022, which a lot of rappers have issues with their own record labels for numerous reasons like exploitation, creative control, and contract issues. A lot of the stuff is like ownership of their music, which a lot of rappers don't have ownership or own their masters of their songs. But in an interview, he talked about how hip-hop was very dangerous to kids and wanted to distance himself from the mainstream hip-hop culture and didn't really have interest in releasing music, and also didn't want to be a part of the quote rap game anymore. He wanted to be seen as an artist. Although I don't really understand what he means by the current hip-hop mainstream culture, because I feel like the mainstream stuff, maybe other than like Megan Thee Stallion and Sexy Red, I can't really think of like hip hop that is truly that bad. Unless there's some people I just can't really think about. Was he talking about Jelly Roll? Despite what he said, he was still releasing music frequently, and a lot of the stuff that he was releasing was talking about, gang stuff or showing guns and stuff in the music videos. In his No Time for Sleep freestyle music video, he shows guns. But whenever he was released from prison, he got picked up by Quavo, and some of the first words that Bobby Shmurda said to Quavo were talking about wanting to get into real estate. So his initial thoughts weren't even music whenever he got released, but other ways of making money and succeeding. And whenever he was asked by fans about dropping music, he says on Twitter, "Stop asking me to drop music. American distributors don't allow real bodmen," which means like a messenger man, "on playlists because I don't paint my fingers. So it's pointless until something is done with the people who own, run, and manage these platforms." So there also seems to be issues between Bobby and distributors, which is a common thing for rappers to have issues with, as not just labels, they'll also have hard times with distributors over ownership of their songs. They have bad communication and support, and music will end up getting took down for no reason. An example is in Bobby Shmurda's more recent album that got released. There's like multiple songs, like it seemed like every other song was not on there anymore or not playable anymore on Spotify for whatever reason. But one of the biggest examples of showing how far Bobby Shmurda has fallen happened recently. On May 10th, 2025, Bobby Shmurda had to cancel his Still Alive tour a little before the start date. He apologizes, but then blames the booking agents, saying they mismanaged it and he had to possibly take legal action against them. The caption of this post says, "Hey to all my fans, I apologize for the tour being canceled. I take full responsibility. I have to go through lawsuits with these guys at Philip Stingle, who works at Hello Touring, at I Get Guap, that I knew better to do business with. Let this be a life lesson to all business owners and affiliates. Don't leave nothing to no one's hands. Doesn't matter how much you gotta work. Nobody is gonna treat your work like it's yours, except if you got a top, pause, done expert. But that happens once in a blue moon. Because you have money does not make you a boss. Anyways, I apologize again to all my fans. I might have to go through some lawsuits and lawyer fee money, aka the industry most wanted. Ain't nothing new, I've been fighting." I've kind of had to say that in actual English because he messes up so bad in this, and there's no correct punctuations and stuff. It's kind of weird, although you kind of don't expect someone like Bobby Shmurda to be able to do that, especially with the music he released. You listen to that and you look at his texting and you're like, yeah, that makes sense. But to start the text conversation that he showed off, he's talking about, I guess, having to buy and where to put ads. When they log in, you have to tell them it's two separate pages, one for Facebook and the other page is for Instagram ads. Philip Stingle, the booking agent, says, "Hey coward, let me know if you need the book mailing address to sue me. Anytime we can run the fade. Ain't no coward here. You ain't gotta talk to me like you have been." So from what it sounds like, don't get me wrong, your booking agent saying this is kind of absurd. But I mean, the behind the scenes of a lot of the music industry is pretty dirty and has been talked about before in the past about how dirty and bad it is. And this is probably just another example. But still, him saying that is low-key kind of insane, especially whenever you see a picture of him in a second from his profile. But also, it shows here that Bobby Shmurda also is not innocent. It seems like he was a pain in the butt to deal with and work with, talking down to or talking badly to Philip. Guap says, "Tempers flared and things were said from both sides. Call it even as men, and let's follow through with what we started. This is business. We have moments that aren't so pretty at times. No need to sue or stop any tour because men had a argument. It happens." Guap follows up saying, "Phil, it's frustrating to go through weeks of emails and calls, etc., trying to make sure tour is being promoted correctly and have everyone act like they're spending money on marketing to find out they are not. It's tough to be lied to. People don't know about the tours, so we need to figure out how to change that." Then Philip responds saying, "I plan on pulling ad request receipts that prove the marketing that they've done behind it, depending on how their ad is set up, as depending on what you're gonna see." Philip then says, "Hey Bobby, I want to apologize for the stuff I said yesterday. I lost my cool about the whole thing. I know it's stressful on you and all of us." "Same here. Yeah, they haven't ran the ads right." Guap says, "We already on the phone with promoters figuring out this morning. Got off the phone with 2 of them already. You were right about that." Philip says, "Most have not. Belt has been getting put to butt all morning." So it sounds like, yeah, they were having an issue with some of the ads or whatever. But we're about to get to a bigger and deeper part that shows that even with this issue, that was not going to stop the ending that was about to happen. as Philip Stingle, the booking agent, claps back on Instagram saying this. The Instagram caption says, "Full transparency, the tour was canceled due to an average of 10 tickets sold per show, not a lack of promotion. We ran ads, we have receipts. This wasn't about effort, it was about demand. Sometimes artists lash out publicly. That's emotion. We deal in data. We wish Bobby Shmurda the best of luck on the club circuit. Hashtag tour canceled, hashtag live music business, hashtag ticket sales truth, hashtag music industry facts, hashtag artist accountability, hashtag promoter life, hashtag halo touring, hashtag data over drama, hashtag no cap just stats, hashtag on to the next." Philip also adds in a comment saying, "Also for the record, I'm the booking agent, not the promoter of the tour." So I guess he was also added in to do extra work that he wasn't hired to do, because if you're just the booking agent, then, you know, it's kind of weird that you also had to deal with some other stuff. But to go on, his post itself says, "Let's be clear, the tour was canceled because average ticket sales across markets were 10 per city. That's not viable under any circumstance, no matter the artist or budget. Bobby Shmurda chose to publicly vent rather than acknowledge performance metrics. His frustration is understood, but the numbers don't lie. The problem wasn't promotion, it was demand. The industry isn't about emotion, it's about execution. If 10 people are buying tickets, there's no show, period. This post was a distraction. The facts are facts." He then goes on to show multiple receipts of like the sales and stuff of like each event. He shows one example of tickets not being sold like a month prior at all. There was 0 sold a month before the day of an event. He shows another receipt that on May 4th there was 0 tickets sold whenever there was another event 3 weeks ahead. Then the last one shows that there was 9 tickets sold total for a certain event. So I mean, overall, it shows that Bobby Shmurda just couldn't sell tickets. And if you can't sell tickets on your own by, you know, posting a Instagram post, on top of that, getting people like Quavo, Rowdy Rebel, and others to promote it as well, I feel like no matter how bad you are at promoting, you should sell more than 10 tickets. Some cities sold 0. This tour went to other locations like LA, Houston, DC, and Boston, and some of those places sold 0. It's actually insane. And I'm not like a marketing genius or anything, but I feel like if you are popular or if people want to come see you, they will find out about this stuff like through your posts, right? So you shouldn't rely on Instagram and Facebook ads to make up for thousands of ticket sales. Instagram and Facebook ads shouldn't be the difference of 0 to 10 ticket sales to hundreds and thousands of ticket sales. That just sounds whack to me. It just sounds like no one wanted to come see you. I think that's the truth. It's been talked about before where people have bought viewers and likes and stuff like that and comments and interactions. It's known in the music industry that people will buy interactions. Their record labels will buy the person views. A lot of like the interactions and comments in some of these posts that support some of his garbage songs can have such bad English, whether it's because it's a bot, it's someone that is hired to type out responses that doesn't really know English that well, or usually services from other countries when you have to buy these subscribers or these views, or it just shows how dumb his fan base is, because if some of them don't know the difference between sense and sense and when to spell it or use it in a sentence, or just how to spell in general or have good English, it shows like, okay, well, that's your audience, or hey, that's a bot. And also the only really big success he has had is from Shmoney, mainly probably because like it had Quavo in it. And also, like, I guess it was promoted by Quavo. It was still during the time where he just, like, started releasing music again. And, of course, like I said earlier, the first song that he releases from being out is going to succeed. That just makes sense. And I've been looking through the comments of some of his music, and people are saying it's low budget, and his most recent music video, that's by the way released a year ago. Like, he's been uploading music in 2025, but his most recent music video was in 2024, in May of 2024 actually, and the song was not good at all. And in this most recent music video, people are saying this sounds like some sort of music you'd hear in Diddy's crib, and they're also clowning him for the ticket sales and such, and saying that he dropped the soap, that they also miss the old Bobby. She acting like she don't know who I am. No one knows who you are. Laughing emoji, laughing emoji, laughing emoji. People are saying that he fell off and all this other stuff. And it's kind of true. Like, I feel like he just doesn't care about music anymore. Although he said before, like, oh, I'm done making music, or I'm not interested in making music, it's very clear what the effort he's been putting in. If you left your label, why are you still releasing a bunch of music? But if he got released from his label in 2022 and then said, hey, I don't like that thug rap, I want to be a good influence, or I don't want to be like a bad influence, I want to be like a pop star or artist, he still shows himself like with guns all the time, smoking. Some of these like songs are Hoochie Daddy, Bodman, From the Slums, Glock Inside, Whole Brick. It sounds like he just truly doesn't care. And nowadays, in the past couple of years, his music videos have done less and less well. I think no one really cares about him anymore. And honestly, I don't either. He has no effort in his music. It's not good. He says all this stuff, but then leaves his label to post more music. And a part of me feels like he's just dumping a bunch of it so he doesn't have to release anymore. He's like, okay, I can finally leave. But if that was the case, then he would stop posting music frequently, so it doesn't make sense. He's like YB and Namir. He literally just raps for the bag now. But let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe as I do videos on lolcows, internet dramas, and more. More videos are on the way. And I already gave my opinion on this. I'm pretty sure you all will have some pretty good opinions on this as well. Make sure to follow my Twitter. It is linked in the description below. And in the end, I'm PERK30, and keep God close.
To this text, what is best